we are getting basically an exclusive from our guest today. He's done the podcast once before, but of course, now he's back and trending on Twitter. I just searched his name, and there are almost 6,000 tweets for his name just in the last hour alone on Twitter. So I'm so happy that he is joining us today to talk about basically, some of us want to call it rainbow terrorism. I kind of don't mind that phrase. He is an advocate for children. He is a father of two. He has been touring North America basically to advocate for children's safety and kind of anti the whole indoctrination that's going on right now with the T Squad. Welcome back to the show, Billboard Chris. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Yes.
I'm doing
Oh
great.
my God. You're a busy boy, Chris, and thank you so much for giving us the exclusive. You got Tucker Carlson on Monday, so I'm so happy you could stop by today on your Sunday to talk about this. For folks that are not familiar with what happened to you, you were going to a Trans Day of Visibility rally in Vancouver, was it?
Yeah, I live in the suburbs of Vancouver. So there was a Trans Day of Visibility event a couple days ago. And for 2.5 years, I've been traveling around North America raising awareness about the abuse of child transition, specifically giving kids puberty blockers, the opposite sex's hormones, doing surgeries on kids, on little girls. They're cutting off the breasts of girls as young as 12 years old at Kaiser Permanente in California. But anyway, sometimes I go to these events, and I showed up at this event in East Vancouver at Grandview Park, and there were about 75 trans activists there, and one friend of mine was there. His name's Pierre Barnes, and he was kind of surrounded by some rather hostile people. So I just walked across the park. It's just a big grass field, basically, to go say hi to him. I couldn't even get to him because people stopped me immediately. Someone wrote with a felt marker all over my front sign that I wear, which says children cannot consent to puberty blockers. And I got hit, and I ended up with my nose getting cut. So that all happened within 5 seconds. So
Within
what do you do
5
in that
seconds
situation?
before you were able to say, it sounds like I'm going to play this video so you guys can see, but it sounds like basically you show up, you have billboards on your front and back side, and
Yeah.
just for you existing, just for you simply being there, you are swarmed by the rainbow terrorists, and they immediately start screaming into your face.
Yeah. So this video that you have on the screen right now is the second assault. I'd already been assaulted about half an hour before. And then the police showed up and they refused to do anything about it. And it turns out this police officer is a trans activist, and she thinks the whole thing's hilarious. She
Surprise,
wants me to
surprise.
get assaulted.
Yeah. Well, it's Canada. This is amazing. So this is the second time you were assaulted, but you had been at this rally for about how long before this
Probably
happened?
about half an hour, maybe
Okay.
closer to 40 minutes at this point. Probably about half an hour.
And this guy that's interviewing here, this is your friend or someone you came with?
Yeah, so he's an independent journalist named Dan Dix. I run into him once in a while. He knew I was coming to this event, so he came to just do his journalism, and he was interviewing me about the assault, about the lack of police.
Do you have
doing
any
their
videos
job.
of the first assault, or is this probably the
Yeah, I
best?
do. I do.
Let's see. Did you post it here? Should I scroll
It's
back a
going to be
little
further
bit?
down my feed. There's a lot of stuff.
This is assault number 1. Is it this one?
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna play this for context because I want you guys to see everything in order.
So this was the smaller assault. You can probably fast forward 30 seconds or something here.
International Pierre has just showed up, and he's already surrounded by Antifa.
Okay, so he's joining you. You're already out here.
Yeah, I'm actually walking across the grass from a different direction. You'll see me in a second coming in on the right side. We just happened to arrive at the same time.
Yeah, and there's not even that many people here right now. This seems like a pretty
Yeah, there's more on the left. A few more ended up coming.
tame.
You know what you are right now? You're that fucking moron. It's like, keep the black kids out of the pool, dude. That's
What?
This guy also knocked an older man down.
You are so
This guy right here in the camo is,
Mhm.
I guess, pro everything that's going on. And this guy here in the gray seems like
Yeah,
his.
so that's Pierre Barnes, the guy in the gray.
Mhm.
He's a good guy. He's exposed more of the books that are in school libraries and in school classrooms in Canada than anyone else. He's a great guy.
Wow.
He's done a ton
You
of
are
work.
absolutely nothing.
And already he's getting harassed.
So here I'm
You are
coming.
nothing. You are the dumbest fucking
Tim, you need to film all this.
Wow.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you're just a guy in a
So I'm
suit.
getting, so someone's
Getting
marking
painted
a
on.
belt
What the hell
wrap
you
around
think
me
I'm
here.
doing?
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
Wow.
Oh, I love it. Peaceful
Billboard
Antifa.
Chris getting
Look at all these brave
assaulted
people
by
with their masks
these inclusive people, aren't they?
on. Yeah, no kidding. Hey, Pierre, come on over here.
Wow.
So that was that.
Thank you for that.
Pretty minor. Left me with my bleeding nose. They just don't let me walk anywhere.
No.
So
they-
do you see me screaming at anyone, Chrissy?
Yeah, you got to scratch.
no,
that.
you're not screaming at all. You are
Yeah.
very peaceful.
right,
You're very
so-
calm the
Law and
whole
order
time.
Getting
Even
The
though you
officer
could
later
under-
said I was screaming at people and I instigated it, and that it's just
Wow.
a total lie. She's just lying.
No,
And
at
it's all
no
on
point
video.
at no point do you ever lose your composure.
surrounded here.
No, I don't, because I know I'm being videoed all the time, and I know that these videos might be seen by a million people.
Yeah.
And even if
Unfortunately,
they
you
weren't, I'm not going to lose my
unfortunately-
composure because
yeah.
my job is to stay calm and peaceful and spit the facts. And these people always
you
lose
don't wanna
their
with
cool. They
you.
can't
You
have a
advocate?
conversation. So I'm out there to expose it. But I'm also there to have nice conversations if people want to have nice conversations. I'm not there looking for trouble. But
Of
if
course
they
I
want to
know
get
you're
violent, that's on them.
yeah, you are there to talk, and this is just a conversation starter. And what's funny about you wearing these billboards, like the second a little bit of wind catches it, it's like a sail, and it can really kind of push you off
It
for
is
center.
none of your goddamn business.
No, I got 4 kids. It's all of my
It's
business.
none of your business.
So
Wow.
I'm
It's
calling
none
it
of your
for the police
business.
now because obviously these are volatile people who need some police presence there.
No, that's the 90s.
It seems like these folks really want an altercation. They really
So that
want.
escalated quickly. I'm going to stay here and keep an eye on things, guys.
Yeah.
It
So if we
seems like they
scroll up my
want to
Twitter
fight.
feed, we can find when the officer first arrived. You'll see a picture of her car as the start of it.
Okay.
And
Let's see.
keep going.
And do you know the officer's name?
Yeah, her name is Frederique Buckman.
Is it this one here?
No, that's later on. It took me a while to get some stuff uploaded, so these aren't necessarily in order. I still have some more footage to upload.
No, it's good. Like
There
you
it
can
is.
even edit this
That's the
all
one.
into one long video. Okay, so this
Yeah, that's what I'm
is,
doing with a thread.
yeah. This is before your first altercation that
This
you
is
saw
after
this
the first
woman?
altercation. So I called 911. She arrived, 2 female officers, and they just sat in their car. So I walked over to them, got
When I
off the
got
phone with
here,
911,
and
started
within
filming
seconds, I
immediately
was
because I know
surrounded.
I need to film these police.
Not allowed to walk freely.
And right away, she's a problem.
She doesn't seem very concerned about you, about what's going on. She doesn't seem like she's even wanting to get out of the car. You're literally
Right.
talking to her, expressing concern, and she's like,
They weren't going to get out of the car. They didn't come out until I got there.
they're like, ugh, it's raining. Ugh.
It's Canada. I should be allowed to attend this without getting assaulted. Well.
You just said I should be allowed to attend this without getting assaulted. She goes, well, that should tell you
Right.
everything you need to know about her point of view.
Yep. I knew right away I have a problem here.
So, who pushed you? What happened?
These guys did. It's all on video.
Okay.
They just walked up to him and assaulted him.
You want to see? I don't. Where's the video?
I have it on my camera.
Are you wearing like a
Yeah,
body
I
camera
can-
right now, Chris?
show it, yeah.
I'm filming with my phone at
Are you
this
gonna
point,
do
but I
something
do
about it
also
if
have
I
a
do?
body camera on.
If I actually see.
I haven't
an
uploaded
assault
any of
and
that
not a
footage.
claim of an
She says,
Easier
if
with
I
my phone.
actually see an assault and not a claim of an assault. So she already is going in completely biased, which seems really inappropriate for a police
Yes.
officer.
And my nose is bleeding.
No, it's
How do you
fine.
think that happened, man? You think he did it to himself or something?
People can do
Ugh.
these things.
You
to
hear
hurt
that?
themselves on purpose.
He says, how do you think that
You know,
happened?
honestly,
His
think
nose
that
Police
bleeding.
officer here thinking I scratched
People
himself on
can do
purpose.
that.
You know, honestly,
I'm
think
asking.
So she'd rather believe that you're up in here hitting yourself
I'm
Yeah.
rather
really
than
bad.
you've been attacked.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing.
You provided me no evidence.
You
I'll do it
provided
on
me
my
no
phone, too.
evidence.
Okay, then why don't you show me?
I'm recording you right now. Talking
So,
about how I'm
long
an
story,
expert in my own interest.
he shows her in a second here.
Okay.
Smiling
Then he rewinds it. He shows her again.
right now.
And this charade goes on for half an hour where she doesn't want to do anything. Then another officer doesn't want to do anything. They're both saying I'm instigating. They're lying. She later says with the second assault, which is the more major one, that it was a mutual fight. So they're not going to do anything about it.
Like you not to follow me, so I can go
I'm walking.
And then on Twitter today, I find her Twitter account, and she's liking posts about the Transgender Day of Visibility, and she's liking
Wow.
a post of someone who said, and let me bring this up here.
I want to play this main video here, the one that got 7 million views before, because
Sure.
I do want to get into the cop because it's
Okay.
really inappropriate for her to be
She's an
displaying
activist.
her obvious point of view here.
Bias.
She should really try to. No human being can be completely objective. I understand, but like she doesn't give a fuck. Like she is letting it be known her stance here, whose side she's already taken.
And in
so
this
is the-
video, she's on the far left in the background, watching and smiling as the assault's going down.
Why do you think they're getting that kind of representation? I mean, it's clearly was
Smiling right there.
aggressive violence.
A little bit.
You suck. You suck. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're not wanted. Fuck.
And Chris, you're again how tall? You're 6'2", and this is
and a half.
another like this dude is basically your height, gets right in your face. This is the trend we see over and over again.
Yeah, a couple of them do.
There doesn't seem to be a conversation. There doesn't seem to be even polite questioning, even a debate. They just immediately get in your face and start screaming. They make it impossible for you to practice your freedom of speech, but everyone needs to bend over backwards and roll out the red carpet for these people to have free speech.
Fuck you. You're a
Right.
fucking idiot. You're a fucking
I don't know
idiot.
what to say. I
Fuck
guess
you.
these police
Fuck
officers are
you,
mostly
you
indoctrinated
hate
as well.
Everyone here does.
They're afraid of the mob.
Because you're a
I
fucking
think-
idiot.
I think they're
Fuck you.
afraid that if
Fuck
they
you.
do anything to
Fuck
actually
you. Fuck
keep
you.
law and order,
Fuck you.
that
Fuck you.
they'll end
Fuck
up
you.
being
Fuck
on the
you.
end of this verbal
Fuck
abuse.
you. Fuck you.
So it's just
Fuck you.
cowardice from
Fuck
everybody
you.
all around.
Fuck you. Fuck
People
you.
probably want to know, how do you keep your composure?
Fuck you.
What's that?
How do you keep your composure?
Look at her. She is smiling. She is loving this. Hands in her pockets. Like she looks like she's about to take out some popcorn.
Well,
That's-
can we call him a man? Because he's a man.
This is a dude. Yes. This
That's
is
a dude.
This is not ladylike
Yeah.
behavior. This is very
Yeah.
dude-like behavior.
A man with lipstick does not deserve to be called she
No.
Fuck
when he's
you.
committing this.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Again, you've done nothing. You've said nothing to these people. You have not gotten these people's faces, but they're very comfortable, very confident to get in your face and shout you down over really nothing. Over just standing there with billboards. There you couldn't have been
Yeah.
a more chill presence.
Fuck you. 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 Fuck you.
And boom. I mean, if there's any question on who struck first here.
Yeah. So he's right. He's yelling right in my ear. I couldn't even hear the reporter's questions some of the time. You hear me at one point say, "What's that?" You can hear it on the mic here, but one of those shouts kind of hurt my ear, and I turned back around, and they've gone from being beside me now to kind of being in front of me. I can't move. Police are doing nothing. Officer Buckman in the side of the screen there is sitting there smiling away. And what am I supposed to do there? I can't move. He's not allowed. Do I have to let him climb on top of me?
Yeah.
So I
is
put
that
a
what they
hand
want?
gently on his chest to get some of my space. And some people are
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, I started it." Yeah, give me a break. And
No
then
way.
as soon as you touch these people, this is always their strategy. If you touch them, if you step on their pinky toe, they use it as an excuse to assault you. So then he pulled on me. The other guy pushed from behind, and I was on a little bit of a slope there. I took a bunch of steps. I took a pretty hard fall. I fell hard on my tailbone. But hey,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Oh, and now
Expose
the
yourselves.
cops
Expose your violent
snap
selves.
into
You're doing my
action.
job for me.
Right. Isn't their job to de-escalate situations? Like, I'm not a police officer, but without any training, I feel like your job is to de-escalate. And why wait till there's a physical altercation to spring into action. Like if I see someone screaming in someone's ear and someone getting surrounded, I go, hey, this seems like a good opportunity to de-escalate. Why do they have to sit back and just wait for someone to get assaulted? It's really
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And people can go to my Twitter account at Billboard Chris, and they can watch the whole lead up to this. I've got a whole thread going. I just have to finish it off. But the police were just completely and utterly useless.
Ugh.
And even after this, do they do anything? Do they arrest the guy? No, they do
Yeah,
nothing.
and no one's asking you if you're okay. I don't see anybody running over to you at all. Everyone's running over to that dude with the lipstick. So
Yeah, and you can see as I'm falling down there, even at that point, the officer, she's the investigating officer. She's the main one. You can even see there that she's laughing. So, and she's liking tweets on Twitter of people thinking it's totally hilarious that they're rolling on the floor laughing. And that's the tweets that she's liking. So she's going to get, I think, in some sort of disciplinary trouble. And she should. I mean, we can hope, but who knows in this crazy society what happens.
how do you keep it together? Because I mean, your heart must have been beating so fast. Like I mean, and this is probably not the first time this has happened to you. You probably get shot down everywhere you go, but
I've been assaulted like 25 times. If you include people spitting on me and things like that, I've probably been punched, I don't know, a dozen times. I had my arm broken in Montreal. I don't know. I just stay calm. I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me that much. And it's my job too to stay calm, because I'm letting these people show the world who they are and who the same people are that are advocating against the sterilization and mutilation of children. We're very clearly on the right side of history here, but all of the government and all of the leftist media want to say that there's some genocide going on against transgender people, when all of the violence going on only comes from one side. You never see it the other way. If it was happening, it would be on a 24/7 loop on CNN, but we never see any of it.
and you would think that they would not, not saying nobody can gather, but you would think that if there is a trans person who is, very passionate about pushing this agenda, you would think that considering what just happened in Nashville, like they would go out of their way to be like, okay, let me try really hard to not be this stereotypical angry, violent
Right.
trans person, considering the events that just happened in Nashville. Let me give it a couple weeks. Let me maybe calm down so I don't continue to perpetuate what seems to be a stereotype.
Well, that's what rational people do, Chrissy. We're not dealing with rational people. These are a lot of mentally ill people, just factually speaking. And their whole philosophy is violence. Trans activists and Antifa are one and the same. They don't do that. They're all about violence. They're all about doing whatever they can to silence conversation. I've had people, I go to universities, I have conversations on campus. I've had people bring their bed sheets out from their dorm rooms to hold up around me so people can't even see me. Of course, it backfires spectacularly, because instead of one guy standing there, there's now this huge scene and everyone wants to know what's going on. So every time they do something like this, it just ends up reaching millions, especially this time. I've picked up 80 or 90,000 Twitter followers already. And
Wow.
this is making news all over the world. It's making news in France and Australia and the UK, and it's absolutely everywhere. So
after this,
I guess I should thank them.
you should. They're helping you with your marketing for sure. So after the second altercation happens, you went back to the same female cop, or did you try to speak with someone different?
There was only her to talk to, and there was this other male officer. He was the only other one talking to me, and they just wouldn't do anything. So after the second altercation, I don't know, I probably stayed there for 10 more minutes or something, and it was getting cold. It was rainy. It was 6 degrees Celsius, which is like, I don't know, 40 something Fahrenheit. And I was ready to go home. I mean, nothing else was going to be accomplished that day. So we headed out. And of course, people followed me to my car to dox my license plate and whatever. And please don't do anything. It's just a total shocking display of policing all around. That's the real story. The assaults are bad enough, but it's the policing in this country. because it's not just here. It's in Ottawa, where I've been mobbed by 200 university protesters who punched me in the head twice, painted on my signs, spat on me, destroyed my signs, and keyed my rental car, all in the presence of about 12 officers and government officials from Ottawa, the capital of Canada, watching on, cheering it on, posting their own videos saying, look at this, we ran this guy out of town. No, you didn't. You did exactly what I wanted, which was get millions of people to see what you degenerates are like. So it just happens
Right.
everywhere. In Montreal, I got my arm broken and the police wouldn't even investigate. They told me a month and a half later that they lost the street footage, and unless I could get them the names of my masked and hooded attackers, there was nothing they could do.
And I'm
So
sure
it's
you
just a
go
total
there.
disgrace.
Unfortunately, you go there probably expecting to get pushed around. You probably expect to get, punched. You hope it's not going to be too bad. But what probably was the biggest shock for you was the very clear and obvious display of the I guess the political beliefs, the ideological beliefs of the police, who are their job is to protect everyone, regardless of uh, their ideological beliefs, their political beliefs, their feeling on
Yeah.
people. And
When there are a bunch of police there, I don't expect to be getting hit. I expect them to do their job. I've done this a lot. I've done this in the United States a lot, and it's totally different down south. And in Boston, I went there on January 2nd for my second protest at Boston Children's Hospital. The first time there were about 60 police. They did an outstanding job. They kept everyone separated. They had 200 Antifa people on one side of the street, myself and about 10 parents who came out with me, most of whom, by the way, were lifelong Democratic voters, mothers. And they did a great job. I went back there in January, and I kid you not, Chrissy, there were 150 plus police officers who came out. I guess they were prepared for a riot. It was amazing. There were
wow.
bicycle cops, the motorbike squad, the gang squad, the riot squad. There were cars and trucks and SUVs and vans up and down every street full of police officers. And Antifa didn't even show up. It was myself and 10 friends and 150 police officers. Totally surreal experience. You'd think I was the president in the United States or something. But up here in Canada, it's a totally different story. They've maybe swallowed all this propaganda, or they're too afraid to actually do their job when it comes to trans people, because then the media is going to report that they're arresting these poor, innocent, maligned, most oppressed members of our society, when nothing could be
Very
further from the truth.
impressed. Yeah, very not visible. Very not visible. We can't see them.
Yeah,
Where
they're
are
totally
they?
invisible.
They have visibility. They're so invisible. We don't know what they are, who they are, where they are. They're quite visible. So then you looked into the police officer who was laughing at you, clearly wasn't helping, who clearly didn't give a fuck, was doing nothing to de-escalate, blamed you for your own assault. And you actually were able to track down, was this her?
Yeah, someone else found this and sent it to me.
Okay.
So apparently this is her account. It was created in July of 2022. She's never tweeted anything, but if you look at her likes, that's the most recent one. And you can read that there. I can't really see it.
Okay, her likes are, yep, she liked 2 days, I guess, before the screenshot was, and I think you probably screenshotted this yesterday. She likes the transgender day of visibility tweet and flag. She is liking Greta Thunberg taking down Andrew Tate.
She's got a bunch of feminist posts that she likes.
Yeah.
She's basically a misandrist. And this one tweet that she liked yesterday, it says, there's some guy, he said, I've been laughing at the videos ever since I stumbled across them, and I think I'd be rolling on the floor in hysterics if I'd witnessed it firsthand. That's the tweet that she's liking when she goes home and checks this all out on Twitter. So she's just exposing herself. It's like a criminal returning to the crime. Thank you so much, Officer Buckman, for showing us who you really are, as if we didn't already know.
Yeah, and
she's
it's like,
been
I'm
previously in trouble. She was, a judge previously found that she engaged in misconduct when she was assigned to a case of a boy, a young man, 29 years old, who'd gone missing. His indigenous mother had reported him missing. Turns out he had overdosed. He'd done cocaine, but it was laced with fentanyl, and the fentanyl killed him. And so when she went to the mother's house to tell her, it says here, in the entrance of the home, Constable Buckman began by saying, first of all, Glenn is dead, which caused the mother, who was already in a state of anxiety, to collapse to the floor.
And this is that same cop that you dealt with.
Yes.
Clearly has no,
The
what
same
you would call
woman.
a lack of people skills.
She is what Josh Slocum would call a cluster B personality. These are pretty psychopathic things going on here. No empathy
Frederic
whatsoever for that
Buckman.
mom. And we saw how
Wow.
she acted yesterday. She wanted the violence to happen. She thought it was hilarious. So what's she doing as a police officer? She shouldn't be.
This is embarrassing. I mean, I know it's Canada, but even for Canadian standards, this is embarrassing that this is someone they would employ as a police officer to represent and enforce the law. It's
Yeah. She had to do some retraining. I don't think it went too well.
yeah. And again, like I'm sure a lot of police officers have Twitter accounts, they can like 'em, but when that lines up so obviously with your actions and your actions are so obviously skewed to the to
Yeah.
the advantage of the people committing the
Yeah.
aggression here, it's
And police weren't
you
going to
can't
do
help but
anything.
feel helpless.
The police have opened an investigation now, but that's only because I posted these videos and Dan Dix posted these videos and they've gone viral and it's now a worldwide story. They weren't going to do anything. They're getting totally hammered with tons of complaints. I've had many ex-police officers reach out to me just aghast at what they've witnessed.
Yeah, this
So
is in
I
the New York.
intend to sue the Vancouver police.
Wow.
However that goes down. I've already talked with a lawyer and we'll figure out how we can sue, what to specifically target. But she also was telling that reporter when I wasn't there that I'd been screaming at people and I instigated it. Every single second of my time there is on video. So
Wow.
it's just an outright lie. It's actually defamation. So maybe I can go after her for defamation as well.
Right, here she is
And
asking you for proof
we'll
of
see.
your assault. Meanwhile, she has no proof whatsoever of you yelling or starting anything.
She said at the end of the day that when I was about to leave, she said that this was a mutual fight. The assault that she sat there and watched, the one we just looked at on camera, a mutual fight. And therefore, they're not going to do anything.
And you know what that tells you is that her point of view is that your mere presence there is equal to instigating a fight. And these are the kind of people that say silence is violence.
She
Words
told me
are
that I
also
have the
equal to
right.
violence.
She told me I have the right to not be there. She said that.
So do
And
all
I said,
them.
I also have the right to be here. I mean, it's all on camera. It's incredible. It was surreal. I got into my car and I just thought, I can't believe this actually happens in Canada. This is the state of policing in Canada. We saw what happened during the trucker protest. I was there for the first 2 weekends where people, even who donated to a peaceful protest, had their names hacked and released publicly. And then based on a hacked list, the government used war powers to freeze their bank accounts. Justin Trudeau invoked what's called the Emergencies Act. It used to be called the War Measures Act. So these are exceptional circumstances which give the government exceptional authority to infringe on our rights. And they used a peaceful protest in order to freeze people's bank accounts because they donated $100 to some truckers.
Yeah, and clearly things do not seem to have improved much at all. But thank God you videotaped everything and you're shining a light on the point of view of these cops, that they can selectively enforce the law based on if they agree or don't agree with the people that they're supposed to protect. So I'm going to go to a couple of these questions here. Thank you, Flagrant Triggers. Chris, I know the crass bros are saying you pushed first, but be sure to hammer the body bump into you prior to you clearing your personal space.
Okay, so a lot of people are saying this. First of all, the rule of thumb, and it's never wrong, is if the Krasenstein bros say something, it's upside down. It's completely wrong. you don't have the right to go get up in someone's face and scream inches from their ear and put your body all over them. I have a right to some personal space. What am I supposed to do there? I couldn't even move. I wanted to leave, but it's impossible for me to leave. The police are doing nothing. So what's my option there? I have no other option. I gently put a hand on his chest, like, hey, you need to back up, because I turned her back around and he's now screaming right in my face. He's actually touching me.
Yeah,
So
you were
those
completely
guys
surrounded.
are on crack,
Yeah.
man. They know nothing. They must be getting paid by somebody. They used to respond to every single Trump tweet within seconds, and no matter what he said, they were disagreeing with it. These guys are just like Democratic operatives. I don't know what their deal is, but they're fake as can be. So I'm not worried about that argument at all. Everyone saying that is just a moron, to be honest with you.
Ryan Linder, thanks for the super chat. More and more people are waking up to the fact that the police protect the state and not the people. Police protect and serve everyone equally, but some are more equal than others.
That's right. If you identify as transgender, you now have license to commit assaults. You have license to commit violence and expect no response from the authorities. They have immunity. If I had done anything to anybody yesterday, it would have been seconds before I was handcuffed and taken to jail. This same police force has arrested me twice after getting assaulted back in 2020. October 22nd of 2020, I think it was. I was swarmed by Antifa, not allowed to move. I walked over to the 20 police officers who were there, and they said I was instigating. I hadn't done anything. I've been there 10 seconds at the Vancouver Art Gallery, which is this huge public square where all the protests go on. There was some huge protest happening. And then there were some freedom people doing their thing. There were Chinese people protesting for Falun Gong, which is this.
They're always there.
Religious sect.
Yeah, those Chinese people, they were at
protests
January
going on.
6th. They're always at every rally that
Yeah.
got into.
And so I show up with a sign that says, I love J.K. Rowling and gender ideology does not belong in schools. And Antifa hate me, of course. So they surround me. And what did the police say then? 2.5 years ago? They said I was instigating.
Wow.
So I ended up getting hit by this union rep named Robert Ages, who kind of hit me with 2 hammer fists right in my chest. And the second he hit me, I got handcuffed, taken to jail. I was charged with causing a disturbance. And I was banned from walking on all these streets in the middle of Vancouver for 6 months, until one day before my first court hearing, when our Crown prosecutor, like your state prosecutor, just dismissed the charge, which I knew was going to happen. But they were just trying to get rid of me, because it's easier to get rid of me than it is to get rid of all the violent people. So we just let violent people do whatever they want.
Right. It's very similar to Antifa and BLM. It seems like if you are part of the victim group du jour, you get a get out of jail free pass, you get an accountability free pass, you can do literally whatever you want, assault whoever you want. And for a group that is already attracting a lot of unstable folks to then pour gasoline on that, be like, oh yeah, and also, clearly you can see you're not going to get in any trouble, you're not going to get arrested because you're part of this victim group.
And now the leftist media and the Democratic Party are all pushing this narrative that there's a genocide going on of transgender people, and they're working these mentally ill people up into a frenzy where they think they're under attack, when really it's just a bunch of parents saying, hey, let's help our children with mental health comorbidities. Let's help our autistic children. Let's help these kids who've been sexually abused or who've had trauma. Let's not just tell them that they're transgender because they're having a tough time in life. Let's maybe help them. And if they want to transition as an adult, that's a different conversation. This is not a genocide. This is called common sense and parenting. But instead, they're working these young people up into a frenzy. So who knows what the motives were for that shooter in Nashville. But when you push this narrative on these people and make them think that they're under attack, well, this is a recipe for disaster.
It's really not fair. Yeah, especially all this. You convince a group of people that are not stable to begin with, not comfortable in their own skin to begin with, and then you convince them that regular people want them gone, or it's almost like we don't really care. Most people are of the belief, like, go do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. Like, live and let live. It's a lot of us get activated and fired up. Those of us that are parents or have kids in our lives that we care about, we just, it's kind of I feel like it's a very common point of view to have, but I really feel for these people. I really feel bad for these people if they genuinely are walking around thinking that there are folks that just don't want them to exist. If they actually truly feel like they're under
Yeah,
attack, it's like, yeah, I don't believe that the governments should subsidize your boob job. I don't feel like my tax dollars should have to go towards you trying to grow a dick on your arm. But like, you save up your money and you do whatever you want, if you're 18 and up. But
right.
I just don't think.
Even then, even with the 18 and up, doctors swore this oath to first do no harm, and you never go straight to the most invasive thing. So even at 18, 19, they should be screening for other mental health comorbidities. They should be screening for trauma and abuse, and they should still be treating those first. Otherwise, you end up destroying the body of someone who's got some other issue going on, and then 5 years later, they say, "What the heck did you do to me?"
Right. And it's tricky because in any other group of people, usually when you want to be respected, you respect others and you first and foremost respect yourself. You act like a respectable person. You act like a serious person. But it seems like none of these rules apply to this particular group of people. It's like you don't even have to conduct yourself well. You don't have to respect yourself. You don't have to respect others. But everyone is supposed to respect you, no matter how you act, no matter what you do and say. You could spit in everybody's face, destroy your signs,
Yeah,
shove you to the ground, and it's like, no, you still deserve not only respect but to be glamorized. You deserve more rights, better, like it just, and it
these are
seems
the
like they're trying
people
to gaslight
yesterday.
regular
the-
folks.
These people yesterday are who the government are bending over backwards to appease. The violent, mentally ill, criminal sorts. This is totally insane. What are we doing as a society? Let's help these people. We don't bend to everything that they want just because they claim some victim status. This whole society today, if you claim some victim status, everything's off limits. You get whatever you want. Just say you're a victim and whatever you want, you poor thing, and we're gonna celebrate your victimhood. And that is just the worst way to be as a culture. How about we celebrate strength instead of weakness?
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.